Hello and welcome to the #1 prestige indie game podcast, I guess. I'm coming in hot on a Friday night. That was, I forget what that video was called specifically. Something to the effect of DK, Donkey Kong Jr. 3, Matt Glitch Showcase. We'll talk to Nilson Carroll who made that picture. I've liked those things. But also, in case you missed it, that Azusa Plain song, because it's very long and you cannot read the whole title. She was into S&M and Bible studies. Not everyone's cup of tea. She would admit to me. A cup of tea she would admit to no one. Taken from Bell and Sebastian's If You're Feeling Sinister. Azusa Plain names a lot of their songs like that. Had named a lot of their songs like that. Ode to the Mountain Goats and whatnot. But that's all beside the point. What isn't beside the point is our first guest here. Skeleton from Dpel.com, who you may know from Dpel.com.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, hi, I'm Skeleton from Dpile.com. For tonight's trivia, you would not believe the amount of clothes I just had to take off.
3 articles.
Yeah, around like at least one scarf too.
Okay. So how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Busy day, out here on the Dpel.com farm.
Oh, you have a farm? Is that where you get the content?
Yeah, I farm content all day and all night, every day of my life.
Grinded in your content. Oh, so that's why they call it a content mill.
That's why they call it a content mill.
I never thought about that. Jeez.
Actually, one of my first writing jobs was for a content farm.
Are you at liberty to say which content farm it was?
I don't think it's around anymore. It's one of the ones that I think they turned their website into something called like constantcontent.com or something.
Okay. It's just
where you just go in and you sign up and you write a bunch of unpaid articles in the desperate hope that someone decides to buy one.
Okay. At least it's not one of those sites that is just like a redirected 30 other sites.
No, it may still be around, but I don't have to rely on it anymore, which is nice. But I mean, otherwise, I miss writing professionally like that. But I'm glad I don't have to do it for like content mills or anything. I'm glad I have Dpel.com.
Yeah, the secret of everything is just got to go into instead, Oh.
Yeah.
No,
Hello?
fill time for me.
Fill time for you. I'm sorry. You kind of cut out there for a second.
Okay, time's filled. I filled it. We're good.
Time's filled. Okay, cool.
I put it up. We're live. Anyway.
Anyway.
Anyway. So, content mills. We're talking content mills. We're talking hanging out. We're talking questions from our previous episode's guests. I've added so many friends. I have to find where I put these. Here we are.
Oh, no.
Here we go. Here's a question from our previous episode's guest. What is your favorite flower?
My favorite flower? Geez. I didn't expect to be asked about my favorite plant life. I'm pretty simple. I really like sunflowers. They grow all over my backyard.
Okay.
And all over behind my house. So I can just go out and grab a sunflower anytime I want.
And we're talking like big old honking sunflowers, right?
We're talking like, the roadside sunflowers that grow all over the state I live in. So it's like you want a sunflower, you just go out and you find one, you steal it off the road, you replant it. You've brought a beautiful piece of nature into your house.
I feel like I can't remember in my life if I've had a sunflower or if I just imagined it. If it's just an invented memory where through culture, I was like, I know what sunflowers look like. I have a sense of the big stalk.
I'm familiar with the idea of sunflowers.
Yeah, I've held large, girthy stalked plants before. Am I just imagining that I've held a sunflower?
I mean, the last few episodes of the anime Samurai Champloo are just filled with sunflower imagery. So,
yeah.
if you maybe get down on a little Japanese anime sometime, it could be from there.
It's weird you say that because when you said sunflower, actually, that's the first thing I thought of.
Samurai Champloo, yeah.
That was my immediate reference. Listen, I don't like to talk about anime. I think it's a landmine.
It is very much a landmine.
I think I think one of the most dangerous things you can do in life is admit to somebody like that you like anime.
Oh yeah.
Because they are invariably going to. Okay. I am, as with all things in life, an asshole about the things I like, to put it to demean myself, or like an accidental snob. This came out of, I think, purposefully isolating myself in high school, and I'm going to hello, increase my audio levels or get up on the microphone better.
Yeah. By the way, my mic's pretty far away. I didn't
Yeah.
really check it before we started.
You sound
It
good,
sound
though.
okay.
Sound
Okay,
good
cool.
to me. I think I lowered it for other recordings I was doing
Okay.
that have different
Fair.
audio levels in not OBS, Audacity. But anyway, because I feel like every time I would admit I like to animate to somebody, I feel like they're going to admit that they like the worst bullshit in the world.
Yeah, that is a good segue into, like somebody tells you they've spent the last 10 years of their life watching all of One Piece, and it's like you might as well as try and relate to a person from another planet. Like, they're too deep.
So, Skeleton, tell me, how many years of your life have you spent watching One Piece?
Exactly, precisely 0, but somewhere around here. I have a copy of when they first released Shonen Jump in the United States in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I have one of those that's like dog-eared with like the first volume of One Piece in
I
it.
I worked at a place where someone had brought Shonen Jumps to the break room. That's my only relation to the Shonen Jump magazine.
Andrew, was that person you?
It was not me.
Okay.
Listen, as much as I keep my interests hidden at all workplaces, lest anyone think that I like anime and they try and tell me about fucking that thing. You know, the one where the guy cooks food, Toriko or something. Yeah, Toriko. I'm like, I don't want to hear about that dumb bullshit.
You really don't want to hear about Toriko.
Yeah, that guy's got. Man, all those guys suck. I remember because I saw someone post that like everyone congratulated like fucking Rurouni Kenshin guy, and they're like, oh, also all the people congratulated him also suck.
I mean, it's also kind of like a situation where not only does that suck, but it's like, would you rather find out your coworker's really into anime, or would you rather find out your coworker's one of those guys who plays lots of Japanese role-playing games?
I guess it depends which ones. Because
we're talking like Atelier Iris, that kind of stuff. Like that guy exists out there.
Yeah, are we talking Hyperdimension Neptunia?
Yeah, we're talking like Hyperdimension Neptunia. We're talking Fairy Fencer R. We're talking about the fact that I know all of these names tells everyone listening way too much about the kinds of video games I play.
I know all these names too, and I've never played them. So I think there's some reasonable doubt you can cast. Now, how many hours of the Atelier games have you played?
I have played a strange amount of the Atelier games. I do not feel like disclosing.
Don't worry, your Atelier secrets are safe here.
I do truly. I mean, I guess this is the segue, but I am truly a person who loves Japanese role playing games. So it doesn't matter if they're garbage. I want to see what they're all about. I play a lot of. In one of the chats I'm in on Discord today, somebody brought up like the amount of like Japanese role playing phone games there are with just like thousands of mechanics packed into them. I have a folder on my phone that has at least like 20 of those games.
Yeah, the games I end up going back and playing the most tend to be RPGs because I think there's something there. I'm curious about them.
Yeah. And it's like, I almost feel like JRPGs especially exist in kind of a vacuum. They're all so individually different from each other.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys who make those, they're just riffing over there.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. I've been thinking a lot about Melo Santani, constantly mentioned on this show, mostly because of an article they wrote that I really liked about Live Game Dead games. Has been going through like Ys and all the trail. Is it Trails the overarching name for like those 50 games?
Yeah, it's Trails is the overarching name. I've only played whatever the like first English one they released on the PSP was.
Trails of the Sky or Legend of Heroes, Trails in the Sky. Mm-hmm. I have a weird reference point where those games in my mind are real, like, to show my age a little. They're in my mind, those are like a game I would see on GameSpot that like Greg Kasavin would give a 7.0, and I'd be like, okay, Yeah, I'll
it's
try it.
it's funny to me because it's like the Atelier Iris games for me are that
Yeah,
reference point because I remember I would see like Adam Sessler give them a 3 out of 5,
yeah, and it's like
and I would
that's how I found about Disgaea and like Persona 3.
I can't even believe that they're still making Disgaea. Like it's a
Yeah,
series I checked out of after the second one, and I find out not too long ago they're on Disgaea 7 or 8 or
they
something.
just keep cranking them out. But like that is like the epitome of like here's a weird Japanese role playing game, and I guess it just caught on. Half
Well,
people love half naked. People are horny for the half naked anime people.
it's also weird because it feels like Disgaea is one of those things where it's well beyond the point that Disgaea has, I guess you could say, any like cultural reputation.
Right.
Like printy jokes and stuff about Laharl, and I again am revealing how much I know about these games just by all of these things I'm saying,
Yeah.
are like something that like nobody has cared about that in probably 10 years,
Yeah.
but they continue to make those games for an audience of people,
Yeah.
you know?
Maybe it's bigger in Japan, and I just have no cultural reference for what Japan likes.
I feel like I feel that it's definitely one of those ones where they're still getting English translations. There's still got to be a market for them over here.
Yeah. What if it's just like this niche market that would just buy every single one, no matter what?
I do know a lot of like really, I guess I could say older people I know that if they're going to play an RPG, it's usually going to be a strategy RPG. They don't necessarily care if it's like Civilization or it's like Nobunaga's Ambition or, Disgaea 8.
Yeah, it's a strategy. There are grids. I move my party members along the grid squares.
Numbers go up, other numbers go down. Like that's the button they want to itch. I used to love strategy role playing games, but at some point my brain just checked completely out of the genre. I'm gonna attempt later this year to play Tactics Ogre. We'll see
Oh,
how it goes.
let us cling together.
Let us cling together.
That is, I got a tarot deck of that. That came with my
Tactics.
that came with my copy of the PSP version of that game. It's very nice. It has because it's I think it's all that Akihiko Yoshida art, and I like his art
Did you?
style.
Did you? Did you? Oh, did you see the just absolutely deranged series pitch the Tactics Ogre guy made on Twitter a few weeks ago,
No.
where it's like teenager relationship battle royale as like a strategy RPG.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I'll have to dig up the image.
Yeah.
I'll post it afterwards.
Did it
But
sound
it
good?
it sounded definitely like one of those like clearly this has been boiling in the guy for a
Yeah.
while, but it's like getting a little too much into like the bedroom zone of that person's particular tastes, if you
Oh,
know what I mean.
okay. See, that's important because just that original elevator pitch, I'm like, oh, that actually sounds fascinating. But then,
Yeah, the elevator pitch was for like a battle royale game where teenagers have to like have a relationship by the time they're like 20 or something, and it would be like a strategy RPG where you're trying to like force couples together. I mean, it really just sounds like he was describing Fire Emblem,
right,
like that is exactly what those games have turned into.
which is I have a lot of feelings about that in Fire Emblem, and I don't like the main character. I don't. I'm the Indiepocalypse official stance is I don't like that the main character is a character in modern Fire Emblems. Not a fan of that personally.
I
But
I don't. If you ever do an after hours podcast, I'll get into my Fire Emblem's opinions.
oh, okay. If you also Fire, we can get into Fire Emblem opinions right here and now. This is the After
Oh,
Hours show.
I have played too many of those games, and I have seen their darkest underbelly, and the audience that those games are for slightly disgusts me. And then they'll do something like Three Houses, where
Yeah.
there's stuff in there that is very compelling and unique, and still disgusts me on some kind of personal level.
I, I don't like game. I just don't like main character. It it undersells the characters in the story when they all have to be able to bend their will to suit the main character. I
But I
think.
mean, that is the story of kind of, I guess, more modern JRPGs I've
Yeah.
played. That's kind of the social dynamic they try and represent.
Right. It's also very weird. Like sometimes you'll even see that in anime where it's like, look, for all intents and purposes, it's like, oh look, this is a show starring women, but then the main character is a dude, and he's like, I never saw that dude in any of the promotional material. He likely does not have a personality, and it's a mess.
Well, and it gets into that gross. There's supposed to be a cipher for the player area, and I'm not down with the like. I like it. I don't mind there being a Fire Emblem protagonist. I like it when the Fire Emblem protagonist has their own personality, their own role in the story, apart from this is the person I want everyone in my army to fuck.
Right. Here's the thing. I like Ike. You know, I don't like MC Cypher.
I love Ike. I love Ike. I played way too much Path of Radiance. My Path of Radiance story is like a start to finish playthrough multiple times, and then like I parted ways with it when I was broke and moving out of a place, and I sold my copy for like $300.
Oh yeah, I have my secret $300 game is I have that PS1 JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fighting game.
Oh yeah,
complete in box and everything.
And you just gone through it and through it and through it, probably, or
I'm keeping that bad boy.
Yeah, the one I actually had kicking around until not too long ago. I think I still have it's just like goofy memorabilia I've collected. When they did the Shin Megami Tensei Reido Kuzunoha games, the special edition of the second one came with like a Jack Frost plushie dressed as Reido, and I still have that. He kicks around my desk.
I just moved my weird Phoenix Wright attached to a pointing pen stylus for the DS. That was like underneath my computer tower. I was like, what's this guy doing here? Remember? And I mean, they sold things in stores and you got weird bullshit with it.
That's one of the parts of video games I actually miss the most. It's just like the weird shit.
Okay. I always say I don't talk to the chat, but yes, Fulgurdom in the chat. This is 100% the Quintet font. It is called Lunchly Doubly So. This is the Quintet font. Because I was playing Illusion of Gaia, and I was like, I like that font. Can I get that font? And then I got that font.
It's actually funny because speaking of Quintet, I just downloaded the Grandstream Saga not too long ago. I was hoping to get into taking a crack at it.
What is Grandstream Saga?
Grandstream Saga is a game by Quintet that's kind of a distant spiritual successor for the PS1 they made. That's like a spiritual successor to Illusion of Gaia, Soul Blazer, all of those.
Yeah. One of these days, I really want to one of my secondary shows I want to make is like a weekly show where we just play through stuff where I get guests and we play through stuff like that as like a book club or something. But who knows? That takes time to do. I want to play Shadowrun for the Genesis.
Not to toot my own horn.
You did make a book club. That's partially what
you could join the dpel.com book club.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I mean, if I could take a second to talk about that. Last month was...
while we're here, we've spent enough time on Fire Emblem and dumb bullshit. Tell me about Deep Hell.
But Andrew, can you ever spend enough time on Fire Emblem? Let's be real.
No, I have a lot of feelings about Soren and stuff that I need to get out.
I have a lot of feelings about Soren, but I can't talk about them in public.
I have a lot of feelings. I will admit that as I have that Fire Emblem game on my phone, and I like the JPEGs. I'm like, wow, I should get Tharsius 776. I wish that was translated. I like the way this Eldigan guy looks. Tell me more about Reinhard.
Just a brief segue before we get into deephell.com. I do believe Thracia 776 is translated fully now.
Yeah, I think I saw that recently. That it's like just got finally. It's not a bullshit meme translation. It's a real translation.
It's a real translation. Yeah, I think that goes out to the old. I mean, I can't believe they're still cranking at it. I believe that goes out to the old AGTP ROM hacking crew.
Yeah, I remember there was a similar game. It's like an old human entertainment game, La Place No Ma, that had like a really shitty translation for such a incomplete translation for such a long time. And now
Oh, sorry, I
No,
didn't
it's
mean to
finally
cut you off.
complete. No. I was saying it's finally complete. I think it's a fascinating RPG that like I've played a lot of like that Chaosium Trail and Call of Cthulhu games, the role playing
Yeah,
games, and it's very much like a game like that where you're a debutante or a reporter, and there's all this weird stuff going on.
yeah. I've seen that La Place Noma. I've it's actually been on my list for a while of what games I'm really interested in checking out. But the people are in the chat are talking about a book club, and I guess we should continue on with
Yes,
like talk deephell.com.
yeah,
Um,
deephell.com.
yeah, we did. Gosh, I've been, as a brief aside, if people aren't familiar, I've been doing deephell.com for about 4 years now. The original elevator pitch I used to tell myself in elevators alone, um, while staring stone faced with no expression into a mirror,
Okay.
was it was a website where kind of a group of bad people talk about bad lessons video games teach us. That's sort of been where I've went with it.
Yeah.
Um, which is weird because now I'm doing all of these things that are like community oriented and like really trying to get people invested in like having conversations about video games that aren't just Twitter hot takes every single time somebody has something to say.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We did the deephell.com book club for February, which you can join on our Discord. I post, I think if you get on my Twitter, which is deephell.com, I have a link to our Discord like as my pinned post. Last month we talked about a very excellent shoot 'em up called Zero Ranger. And then when March 1st finally rolls around, we're going to be talking about Anodyne 2 until around the 22nd, 25th or something.
Wow, what a coincidence! I wonder if there will be a future guest on the show, maybe even next week, or maybe two of them that know a lot about Anodyne too. Maybe you should tune in next week.
I probably will tune in that next week because I know if one of those people is the person I think it is, I have read almost everything they've written. So
Yeah, yeah. Indiepocalypse ever expanding its guest list.
eh,
I'm just out there shooting my shot, and it turns out people just want to talk.
people, I mean, in my experience, so I guess to circle back around to the website,
To
one of the
deephell.com.
things one of the things I used to do on Deep Hell was I would go to conventions and do interviews and stuff, and just like when you're not a very big website, you're kind of unsure about doing the whole internet thing, considering most people are on Twitch or
Right.
YouTube or something, and you're like trying to make a website again. Be surprised how many people, when you put a microphone in their face and say, "Hey, do you want to talk about yourself?" are just willing to just fucking spill the beans right there.
Yeah, yeah. People like yes, especially once you stop. Celebrity is made up,
Yeah,
and Indiepocalypse here is the great equalizer. I don't care about celebrity, so I think everyone should stop caring about celebrity.
people should absolutely stop caring about celebrity. For me, it's difficult because I'm used to. I mean, I actually, if you haven't listened, we also do a dpl.com podcast, and we
Yes,
did
I.
have. I was going to say we had Andrew on. It was a very fun episode.
Yeah, it's yes. I
I
I will never
am.
become a celebrity. I mean, I could be, but really, I don't flaunt. I would never flaunt my celebrity. That's the. If I'm
I've
a
always.
celebrity, tear me down.
I've always loved like the Tom Green idea of celebrity, where you're just sort of someone who exists and just whatever opportunity comes your way, you always make sure that you're just doing whatever you would have done if the opportunity hadn't come your way anyway.
Exactly. Yes. Now, what would you be doing if you were a celebrity? What was the first thing you would be doing, Skeleton?
Like, what kind of celebrity are we talking? Like, am I famous for like
You got like
blowing?
18. You got like 18 million Twitter followers. I don't know what you did to earn them. It doesn't
I
matter.
have 18 million Twitter followers. I don't know what I did to earn them.
It's unimportant.
I would
You're a
probably,
famous podcaster.
I would probably just like abuse that position to like make sure people just play the absolute just worst games I could get them to play.
That's beautiful. And with that,
Uh, maybe
yes, keep going.
and just maybe like just kind of pervert as much of the like game journalism discussion as I possibly could, like make games that have actually no cultural catch it like incredibly popular. Like I stumbled onto a YouTube channel recently, and it's a guy, like old like 90s like family movies.
Yeah.
he reviews specifically movies that are not bad enough to be like cultural classics, but aren't good enough to be anything more than like a C plus. Like he's in that specific sweet spot where nobody remembers that movie, and that just makes me think about like, what if that guy had like 100 million
Yeah.
YouTube followers?
Yeah, let me tell you all about Freddy and the Dreamers one day.
Yeah, let's talk about the movie Bushwhacker. Like, I'm gonna make everybody play, like Rygar on the PlayStation 2 or Orphan
Whoa.
Scion of Sorcery.
PlayStation 2 Rygar. My god. Now not even NES Rygar that somebody might have heard of.
Oh, I played. I played a lot of PlayStation 2 Rygar.
I think we all have a place. I think everyone has their own PlayStation 2 Rygar. Like, say for instance, Frogger on the PS1. But with that, our time is flown by. Skeleton, great to have you.
Yeah, it was fantastic talking to you.
I'm still gonna have you. We're gonna have a group session at the end, but for now,
Okay.
we're gonna go to a break, and we'll be back with our next guest.
Perfect, because I need to like get another beer, maybe play a video game in there.
Yeah, you'll have like an hour.
Oh, perfect, cool.
2 more guests. So we'll be back. Goodbye. Hello and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was Ponytail's G-Shock. I'm doing that now because I like doing that. I'm really going into... One of these days I'll get a soundboard because I got a lot of good drops I want to deliver. Then I will accidentally just become like fucking Office Hours or something. Anyway, we're here with our second guest, Nilson Carroll. Hello, Nilson. How you doing? Who you may know... Wait, I got this. You may know from issue 7 of Indiepocalypse with Flaming Million.
Yeah.
Or from this very show with that glitch video at the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't see
I
it.
played the DK one.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, and people are still tuned in?
That's what brings the people here.
Oh, man.
That, like, when I posted the Zelda Digital Devil Saga one way back in the day, like, that is still one of my favorite screen caps that I've ever pulled. Was from that video. Just like, I will find a way to post it real quick, but it's exceptional. Anyway, how you doing, Nilson?
Hi, good. I'm not that great. I don't know.
Oh shit, no.
I'm fine. I'm falling asleep over here. I've been like up for like 30 hours.
That's too many hours to be awake.
Oh, I know, but we're here. We're gonna talk about something.
Yeah, well, we need to talk about how am I a celebrity? Who knows about me?
Oh, well, a lot of my friends tuned in when I was on the other couple weeks ago.
You're on,
and they're like, oh.
Listen, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to blow up your spot or anything. But that was 13 weeks ago.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Time moves fast, man.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Feels like yesterday.
Yeah, no, you were on the very first episode, which we are on episode 14 right now.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm surprised that I've been doing this long as well.
Yes, congratulations! This is your 14th episode. That's awesome.
I know, and I've somehow managed to cram it full of like 3 guests for like 12 of those episodes.
Hell yeah!
I just keep
I've
overbooked some of these episodes.
It's awesome.
Got 4
People
next week.
Talk.
Yeah, I know. People just want to hang out.
I want to talk to you, Andrew. People love talking to you.
I know. I turn it on, and I was like, what if I was just trying to be charismatic, and like, what if it worked? And sometimes I like to think it does.
Oh, you don't have to try. I think.
Gosh. But, and I think I'm getting slowly better at being a radio host.
Yeah.
It's a slow skill, but
doing all right, man.
Yeah, I respect people now who like host things. But I also don't mind being weird and combative.
Oh, that's great.
And that has remember there was I always think of a quote referring to it's about the hosting style on Comedy Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Where he just says like you go on fucking Nerdist and the host cares about you too much. You go on WTF and the host doesn't care about you at all. And then you go on Comedy Bang Bang and he doesn't know who you are, what's going on, and he's just waiting for you to say my wife. And I'm like, that's aspirational hosting style. And I just like, especially like, I mentioned it in the pre-show, video games are boring, and I'm so sick of them.
Well, we're gonna talk about them.
Tell me about Dragon Quest, Nilson.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute.
Tell me about the end boss Dragon Quest sprite and how I love that guy.
And which Dragon
The
Quest?
very first one.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, spoilers. That whole sequence, like Dragon Quest 1, oh my god, it's so fucking good. It's like, it's so good. And so my favorite like sequence is like you go and you meet up with the princess and she gives you this item, and this item, wherever you use it, it like tells you your location, like based on her like psychic powers. Like she knows where you are all the time, and like she tells you. It's like that's this is like fucking weird. That's whoever came up with that. It's like a genius. And so anyway, you go all the way around. You build a rainbow bridge, which is something I'm really obsessed with, and I do a lot of like, I don't know, I'm obsessed with the Rainbow Bridge and like building the Rainbow Bridge, and I always thought that like there's something like very queer about it, and like that's just like this like great like thing like you have to overcome at the end of Dragon Quest, right? So you go over the Rainbow Bridge and you get to Charlotte Castle, and you can see Charlotte Castle in the very beginning of the game, so it's like really great foreshadowing, right? So like that's so just like well designed, and so you get to the castle and it's like foreboding, like all the enemies like way too hard, and you like wander around the first like floor and you're like, where the fuck am I going? Like I can't deal with this. So this is like the first time that like you're in like a super like JRPG dungeon in that game. Like there's not a lot of that in that game, and you're just like wandering around, you're like, where the fuck am I going? And there's like a throne, and you go behind the throne, and there's like a secret passageway in the throne, and that's just like, it's so heavy. There's something very mythological about that. And you finally figure that out, and you go through like this really hard dungeon. And in the original game, you could only level up so much, so like you're like grinding for hours just to like fight the like normal enemies in the final area. But it's still like, it kind of feels like it's not enough. But like I think it's like level 30 that you can grind up to.
Yeah, says you. Some of us are playing on BizHawk and we freeze our health values in the RAM.
No, come on, man. And no, honestly, like, please do that.
That is literally what I did. Like, oh my god, I do not want to grind anymore. I'm just like, listen, this is Indiepocalypse PSA. I say it multiple times. If you're playing old games, learn how to use BizHawk and learn how to freeze RAM values. I was
playing the Seventh Saga recently with some friends, and I don't know if you're familiar with that game. It's a Super Nintendo JRPG. Very difficult.
I own a copy of it.
Oh, word, yeah. And so I was playing it, and I was kind of like lagging behind like where my friends were at in the game, and I was like, I can't deal with this. I'm like trying to grind up, and even grinding's like hard, and I was like, I don't know. So I'm like, all right, like I'm like, I know how to like hack ROMs, so I'm just gonna like hack all of my like stats to be like really high. And that just like introduced all these like new glitches in the game, and like everything's like kind of like flickering, and like my like stats are like going up and down, like on like when I'd like level up, and like my strength would like negative. Like, oh man, like I really screwed up my save file.
when I was playing that first Dragon Quest, I accidentally like, if the enemy hit me so hard that I had like over my max HP, I would still die.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like how the game worked.
But so anyway, Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Real quick. So you get to the final boss, and this is like what possibly top 10 like video game moments for me. He's like, all right, like join me, like you can, you can rule the world with me, and you can say yes or no.
Yes,
And
yes.
I very often make like little weird JRPGs, and I'm always tempted and like do a lot include something in like the end of them where it's like, all right, like you can join the bad guy, and then like if you join the bad guy, it's just like, all right, like that's the end of the game. Like you don't get to see the ending.
Yeah, like for the joke around "but thou must" with Dragon Quest, it lets you not "thou must" occasionally, or they play with that concept a lot, even in the very first game.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I like it's
yeah,
you say sure I'll join
I'm
you,
just
it's a game over.
I'm just like sitting here like in my bed being like, oh, Dragon Quest. Like I love Dragon Quest.
It was like a blind spot for me, and I was like, I'll just play through like I have all these Dragon Quest games that I bought forever ago for the DS. What if I loaded them up on emulators instead, instead of dragging out my DS and played through like all of these Dragon Quest games? And I was like, wow, these are good games.
Oh yeah, totally. There was recently, I don't know if you saw this on Itch, there was a game jam. It was about making lists, like a list jam.
Yes.
And so I made
all classes list even.
Did you see it? Did you look at it?
Yes, I pay attention. I regularly, I follow every contributor, and then I regularly check up on their feed to see what they publish, what games they rate. Because it's another way I find games. Because I'm watching what games you add to your collections.
Yeah, definitely. And so I made a list of Dragon Quest classes, but like sort of like my like take on them. So they're all like weird and gay and like, you know, I'm like calling out the like imperialism of like Dragon Quest game mechanics of like, you know, being an explorer and going into like someone else's, you know, community and like stealing their orb and like that kind. Like I'm really interested in like those kinds of mechanics and like unpacking like what the metaphor means and seeing how you can like subvert it or at least like call attention to it and critique it. Because
I mean, there's thought to some of this even in these very mainstream games.
Yeah.
Someone who's occasionally like thinking is like, oh, this isn't just an RPG where you press buttons and kill slimes with pun names.
Yeah, no, there's always, you know, there's always something like under the hood going on and like, you know, just thinking about like where do these assumptions come from and like, you know, I love Dragon Quest. It's like one of my favorite series, but I'm still also very critical of, you know, all of it, really, you know, and so like me doing like a list of the classes is me sort of poking fun at some of that and like calling attention to some of it, and also just like making it really weird and gay, you know.
yeah, it's perfectly fine. Turns out you can enjoy things and not enjoy other parts of those same things at the same time.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I often say that I'm attracted to things that make me think.
Yeah.
So often I'm like attracted to things that are like bad, you know, or problematic or, you know, really deserve critique. And like, that's why I'm attracted to them. So I can like unpack these things and think about them. And that's, you know, I'm not going to say it's fun for me, but it's, you know, it's just something that I do.
Right. Oh, it's a weird kind of fun. Maybe I have that sometimes, that feeling with things that are not like a fun moment, but I get all like riled up and I get super excited, even though it's not like a fun, like, you know, a traditionally fun revelation. I get all pumped about it because I'm like, yeah, go for it. I like it. I appreciate it. When something just takes like a hard swing, I appreciate a hard swing. But we have a question here from a previous guest.
Okay.
It is, do you think you'd have a better chance fighting yourself from 5 years in the past or 5 years in the future?
Fighting myself?
Fighting yourself.
Fighting myself? Oh my... You're really going to send me down like a existential crisis.
Yeah. Not me, a previous guest. I'm just delivering the message.
Fight myself. Well, oh, definitely. Like, I have like a very like decaying, like weak body. So like in 5 years, like I'm probably gonna be like kind of fucked up.
More
Like all
decayed.
my like bones are like disintegrating, and I'm just like turning into like a mummy. Um, so body like strength and defense is gonna be like way lower. But honestly, like my like mind and like spirit might be significantly higher in 5 years. I can't say.
Right.
Um,
I'd
so
hate to disappoint you, but mind and spirit are not useful stats in the current world we live in for fighting.
well, I'm fighting myself,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah, yeah. All right. Are you just
So like, and I'm assuming that it's like the kind of system where if you have, well, actually, I'm assuming the kind of system we're talking about here is like a system where the higher your magic is, the more susceptible you are to magic.
okay? Yeah, because you
And
believe in it
so
more.
and so that could be like that could be really detrimental to me if my spirit goes up. I'll just, and honestly, like we're talking about like video game metaphors, but I definitely suffer from like that kind of problem where like you like learn about like a disease or something, and it's like, oh yeah, like I definitely have that problem. Like I was like reading about like joint pain or something like this, like, and it had like a name, and I
Yeah.
was like, I think like I woke up the next day, I was like, I'm in so much pain right now. Like I definitely have this
Oh,
problem.
yeah, yeah. Of course.
So
I have a mild cough. What disease do I want to have?
yeah. Did I answer your question?
I believe so. That you answered it is
Okay.
to the best one could ever answer a question. I
Okay.
think.
Thank you. I
I
was
like
also excited.
I like the idea of spirit because it reminds me of the faith stat in Final Fantasy Tactics, which I like it very much conceptually as a
Yeah.
like in world, which like I believe in mysticism, so it hurts me more, but I'm better at it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting to me. And I think that faith, if it goes like all the way up, I forget if it goes all the way up or all the way down, but then your character has a chance of leaving your party, like leaving the war,
Yeah.
which is cool. And I was just like, like it's probably never gonna happen, but like
Right,
you're
right.
still like really worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you played it like say a million times and you already know how to power game it, because that was like, wow, this is my first strategy RPG. This game's typos and all. I love it. He's like, don't blame me, blame your god. I was like, this rules.
Yeah, you can blame me or you can blame God, which that's that on my tombstone.
Yeah, yes, for someone, the game is like a revelation when you're like an impressionable teen. And it's like video games can be good actually.
Oh, you guys were talking about strategy RPGs,
Yeah.
a couple minutes ago, and it's like, oh yeah, like Tactics Ogre and like Final Fantasy Tactics, like those are like two of my all-time faves. They're so heavy, and every moment is so like heavy, and sometimes it like drags and
Yeah.
it's like too slow, but still like there's some real meat to those games, and obviously I'm like a huge JRPG fan. Although I've never played an Atelier game, so
I have not either. I'm still not quite sure what they are. I thought they were like Harvest Moon or something. But with like
yeah,
fighting.
I think they have to do with weapon crafting. There's like a lot of crafting, I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I feel like there's a lot of like systems that are not fighting and something is going on.
Yeah.
This
Do you want to hear about the?
this chat disappears after this end because there's no VODs in this land. No VODs, no masters, no rules in Indiepocalypse Radio. Do I want to hear about what now?
How much time do we have left?
We've got at least 6 minutes. We got plenty of time.
Okay. So, do you want to hear about the game that I'm working on now, or do you want me to read a Steam review that I got the other day?
Oh, ooh. What is this Steam review for? What game?
Okay. So I very recently, like the other week, put Flaming Million on Steam, like just for kicks.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm definitely like an itch person, you
Yeah.
know, like I don't really belong on Steam, which is fine. But I was like, I'm just gonna do it anyway, just for fun, like whatever.
Right.
And so it got on Steam, and you know, like I'm not really telling anybody, so it's not like a lot of people are seeing it on Steam. But I got a review, and it's apt, Andrew. It is apt.
Let me hear it. Can I get a username up top?
I'm not gonna say the username.
Okay.
But I'm gonna read it, and just know that I think it's very apt.
All right.
All right. So this person says, I only played a little bit. This is Flaming Million, but it's just really bad. The mechanics were very boring to use. The broken game aesthetic just strained my eyes with the backgrounds and sprites. The plot and story just feel like some 14-year-old girl winning an argument in the shower. And hell, saw tons of bugs in my short playtime. It's just a sloppy mess that needs no one's attention to this Tumblr weirdo's revenge fantasy. And I love this review.
Yeah.
I you gotta understand, Andrew. Like somebody calling me a 14-year-old girl, quote unquote, winning an argument in the shower
Yes.
is like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going for. Like that is me. You know, like it's really apt. So I was
No, that
happy.
is, like that. Yes, of course. That is. I'm a big fan of. There's a reason a lot of itch people don't put stuff on Steam. Because
Why would you bother?
right, yeah, it's a different audience. It's like right.
Well, and that begs the question, like, how did this, nobody knows that I put this on Steam.
Right.
Like, I didn't do anything. Like, how did they even find the game? Like, what provoked them to, like, be interested in trying it for a couple minutes? Like,
Is it free to play?
It's free, yeah.
Okay, so what if they just, like, scroll, like, they look for, like, new RPG games? And just, like, play with it. Like, ooh, free, I'll play. Or they just trawl free games.
Yeah, well, so I was happy. I told my friend that, and she was like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Like, are you sad right now?" Like, no, I totally expected that, and like, it's energizing to me to get that kind of feedback.
No, I think video games need more stuff that people hate.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, totally. Like, I'm glad that person knows that game exists and like had a really negative reaction to it.
Yeah, because there's too much with like games that it's very much everyone has like we all have to have the same reaction, and we ride that same reaction wave of we all love it or we all hate it or we distinctly don't like it because everybody else likes it. Or that person had a very singular experience with Flaming Million.
But it's so true. It's so true to the game.
Yeah. It's. Did you feel like you won that argument?
I do what an argument?
Do you feel like you won that argument in the shower?
Sort of. Yeah.
Okay,
you know,
so
I think I did.
So at least perhaps the quotation marks were unmerited.
Yeah, well, I mean, to them, I'm sure that I didn't win, but to me, I won.
So what are we working on now? Before you segued into your Steam review. Tell me about your current project.
I'm working on a new RPG Maker game. That is, have you played Earthbound?
I have played Earthbound.
You know the part where you go to Happy Happy Valley and you go into like the cult building, and there's just like there's like 1,000 cult members, and so like a puzzle to get through them.
Yeah,
and you like talk to some of them, and they all have like weird things to say. So I really love that moment, and I want to make a RPG where you are trying to help your friend get into a Planned Parenthood, but there's so many abortion protesters that it's like a puzzle to get to the building. And I made like a small version of this a long time ago that is around, but I want to make it like sort of a meteor experience,
right?
Just like a game about like all the ways that like you can get abortion protesters to move. I drive past a Planned Parenthood every day to work, and there has literally been at least 3 to 10 abortion protesters out there every single day for like 4 years. So like we should really make a video game about these people. Like they deserve it, you know. Somebody should talk about this. So I'm really inspired by them, and I'm curious to see how it'll go, but I'm really stoked to like get into that a little bit. And I love like, you know, puzzly kind of RPGs. Like there won't be any like RPG battles in it. It'll be like a puzzle game. Like puzzle game like / like dating sim, you know.
Yeah, but RPG Maker still does a lot of like the busy work for you.
Yeah, I love RPG Maker. I would definitely recommend that to anybody who wants to make like small games.
If there's anyone out, I will say if there's anyone out there who has a PlayStation 2 and a copy of RPG Maker 2 for the PlayStation for said PlayStation 2. One of my dream projects is a kind of game where it's like kind of almost like an Exquisite Corpse, but with RPG Maker 2.
Oh yeah!
Everyone spends a month working on the game, then they mail it to the next person, and it's this game that just like lives on a memory card.
That's really beautiful, Andrew.
But it's like hard. I need to make like a job board or something on my site.
Yeah.
It's like this is here's Andrew's weird bullshit projects to sign up for.
You have to like send somebody like the disc in like possibly a PlayStation.
Right. But I'm not giving up.
But I think that's a good project.
Yeah, it's partially inspired by there's a group in Japan who buys up like old. I don't know if they still do, but I imagine they must. They buy up a bunch of old Famicom RPG makers or Super Famicom, and they just play the games that are on them.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen them on like Twitter or something, and yeah, that's a really fun project. It's it's like archaeological.
Yeah. It always reminds me of I had a small digression before we go to break, which is I bought a copy of Link to the Past used from a Funko Land, and one of the characters' names was Bong, and I didn't know what that was as like an 8-year-old. And still, in the context of that game specifically, when I think of that character named Bong, I still do not register it as the drug paraphernalia, a bong. It's just the name of that guy's Link.
That's really funny.
And as we go, Nilson, have you ever gotten any used cartridge games? And do you remember any fun names from them?
Oh my god, that used to be such a thing. I remember being a very young person, and I bought a PlayStation 1 memory card, and I had been playing Final Fantasy VII for a little bit, but I wasn't very far, but I got a new memory card, and that had a Final Fantasy VII, like, 999 maxed every stat, money, item, and then they had all of because you can change the menu color. It's normally blue, but they had the menu all black.
Oh.
And I was like, yo, dude, like, I don't remember what the names were, but it was like, dude, like, this guy was like serious, like this is like a serious Final Fantasy player. And I still remember like feeling just like a chill down my spine because it was like so like serious and impressive, and also like, kind of intimidating. Like I'm never gonna be that good at Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I similarly. Okay, before I get sidetracked and talk about my own personal, Nilson, as we go out, what did your Final Fantasy menu colors scheme look like? I had like a cool like rainbow with like a little purple thing coming through the middle, sort of like very high contrast stuff.
Well, I'm definitely a purist, so like blue I think is like the best, but because in that game you could do like a gradient, right?
Yeah, like that's what I kind of had. It was like green to like a purplish in the middle, and then I think a green on the bottom, sort of thing.
So cool that they let you do that. I definitely was like the original blue, but then like a little like pink gradient in there, so the kind of cued it up a little bit.
Well, perfect. And with that, we are going to go on a break, everyone. Hey, thanks for joining me, Nilson. I'll see you later. goodbye, everyone, for now. Hello, and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was I'm a fucking McDonald's with drinking boys and girls choir. My way of getting into K-pop is to not get into K-pop. I'm just gonna get into Korean punk, and that's the only way I can do it, to be an insufferable asshole about things. But I'm here with Griffin. How you doing, Griffin? You had a very hot switch of your avatar last minute.
Yeah, I was looking for another image of myself because I keep lots of images of myself in my pocket, and I found that, which is from the Columbus Convention Center, a place that we did not meet but have hung out.
Yeah, no, we've met in Atlanta.
We've met in multiple states. That's how exciting our relationship is.
Remember when you could go to multiple states?
Ooh, yeah. Remember when my primary source of income was leaving Ohio? I do. That's an ouchie.
Yeah,
Great start.
That's a anyway.
Now I'm
How you
sad.
doing, Griffin? How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a delight being a fly on the wall, listening to very varied conversations.
I like to have varied conversations here. I just kind of like let the natural flow of conversation whiz by me and see what I can do. You know.
When Skeleton was on, I was excited for a second. I thought that every guest got the same question from the previous guest.
No.
So I was like, oh, dude, I love flowers. This is going to be awesome. And then the second question was way deeper. I was like,
no, would you like to get your question, Griffin?
Oh, let's just get out of the way. Yeah, let's hit it. Let's start it off.
So this is a weird question for you in particular. We usually have game developers of some kind on this show.
This is fine. I can pretend.
What game development related skill are you most envious of? So I guess that also works for you.
Anything involving art or actual drawing. I would say I am a good image manipulator, but I am not an artist. So the things that I do that involve art is I'm bullshitting.
Yeah.
But I guess I can elaborate. The one section of game development that I do know about, besides like boring merchandising, outside marketing, blah 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 blah, which is development, but that's a gray area.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I squeak into a microphone and people use it for things.
Oh, like voice acting, I think is what they call that.
Yes, that's what the kids are calling it these days.
VO.
VO, which is like
you're on the Vox.
It's such a minute thing, but in gaming it's VO, and in anime it's VA, and I come from that world way more than I do games. So a couple times I've referred to it as VA, and I've had people go, "What?" It's like, "Oh, voice actor." Like, what does that mean? It's just a person who does VO. Like, oh, it's like, yeah, but VO doesn't cover like a person isn't a VO.
I refer to all sound coming from mouth to microphone. I just call it all Vox, baby.
There we go. It works.
Keep it simple. Keep it clean. Keep it simple and clean.
Hey, I know that song. And the Skrillex remix.
I don't care about the Skrillex remix.
I just bought. So I'm just gonna further confuse people as to why I'm here. I don't really play video games. I'm a very recent.
Oh shit! Did I type? I guessed on your name. I spelled it wrong, didn't I?
Yeah, that was what I said. That so for the folks who were not in the actual call, who are watching and listening, right before we went live, I was about to tell Andrew that there's a typo in the title of the stream.
How do I spell your last name? Quick.
Well, you spelled it right on the screen. There's no E in my last name, but I was about to like say, hey, and I guess you thought I was referring to the profile picture switch because you're like, yeah, I got it, and we're live, and I was like, oh, okay.
And you know what? I think and here's the beauty is that in the question part, I spelled it correctly.
Oh, that's the only place you've spelled it wrong. I blame it. My Twitter like display name is my name because
Yeah.
I'm brave and don't ever want a job again. Except for the last like week and a half, it's been a line from a fan fiction that is almost kind of about me. That I loved the line that mentioned me, so I just made it my display name.
Well, it is correct. It is corrected now for.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Future generations will know that there's no E in my last name.
Yes.
Despite, hypothetically, the actual origin of my last name having an E in it, somewhere along the line, someone just said, don't need it.
And your name is cut off. This is what.
Oh, I'm a curator.
You're a
Sounds
curator.
like
So speaking of curator, you mentioned going to conventions a lot as
I
primary. So Griffin, what do you do?
What do I do?
What do you do?
Thank you for verbalizing what I ask myself every night before I go to sleep and every morning before I get up.
In a non-lockdown based world, what did you do when I met you in Atlanta? What were you doing?
Let me think back to the far off year of 2019. So I guess I put it in my Twitter bio. I the best way to word it that I think is ex-carny. For a good while, I was a traveling arcade tech. So like conventions that would hire an outside company to bring in arcade machines, Japan,
Tokyo
American,
Attack.
whatever. Tokyo Attack, Snow Phoenix, Psychic Drive, all my K-Dogs, all my boys and all my peeps. Community reference for the 3 people out there. I would do that and was just getting to the point where I was like, hey, I'm making enough money to come back, take my girlfriend on a few dates, leave the state again, and then the world caught fire. And I had to pivot because my skills were useless. So
Right.
I was spending a good 20 to 30 weekends out of the year out of the state, out of my home, which I say weekends. A lot of those were like Wednesday to Monday. Like
Right. Convention weekends.
Shows like, Atlanta, we're driving. It's not like we're flying or anything. So, for a Thursday to Sunday show, we got to leave Wednesday morning, which means oftentimes I'm leaving home Tuesday night to get to Columbus, which where all the
also flew to
trucks
Atlanta.
leave out of.
Right. I was trying to. So, as you will, something that will come up occasionally on this show is that if you ever hear me make a weird divergence, because this is a problem I have socially that people know me or aware, but when you say Atlanta, I don't fly to Atlanta, my brain stepped back 3 different shops, the conversations that you weren't a part of, and go, oh, right, I flew to Atlanta.
You did.
Yes.
Yeah.
I flew to Atlanta.
You were smart.
That relates to a conversation that I had yesterday with people you don't know.
Oh, of course.
But what is driving that long?
So I don't drive, which is great for situations like that.
Yeah.
That there's myriad physical, mental, vision, etc.
Is this voluntary or is this the government does not allow you to?
I play it off as more voluntary than it is because the truth is ambiguous. A lot of it plays into doctors are expensive, and going to like doctors that will prove what I already know about me is expensive and redundant. It's a whole thing. So I just don't.
Perfect.
So I ride passenger in big old Penske trucks for many hours at a time and get to fun places and set up arcade machines. And it's great because I don't do that anymore. And the company I did that with no longer exists. And I don't really see it coming. Not only do I not see that company coming back, I don't see that concept coming back near as strong for a long time post the plague, because so many companies that were doing things like that during the pandemic have been kind of pivoting to, Psychic Drive is looking into a permanent warehouse space. They're doing a lot of streams. They're merchandising. A lot of the providers have, for the last year, loaned out their cabinets to local places, just kind of on a, hey, we don't take them anywhere, so...
Right. You gotta do something with them.
This is the most niche conversation I could possibly have. But yeah, the sphere of at least Midwestern right side of the country arcade companies is dramatically different now that A, Tokyo Tack is shuttered, and B, so many companies, when they do come back, are going to have to dust off the cobwebs, and this is a very run-and-gun industry. It's a lot of people going show to show to show to show to show,
Yeah.
and the second they sit down and think about it, it's a lot. So having a lot of time to think, I don't know that everyone will come back. Obviously, we already lost one company, but I don't know that everyone's gonna return.
Yeah, and also how quickly are the conventions going to return?
Did you mean the group chat that I am in for leadership of a convention that will remain nameless, talking about how the fuck they're gonna figure out registration this year? Yeah. Conventions are all on fire, and if you like one, good luck.
Yeah, I had lofty aspirations last year that I was going to go to TCAF this year.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. I filled up my virtual submission just the other week.
Yeah. This year would have been the 18th OhioCon that I had attended, and I did some of the online. Like, there was an online event. I emceed parts of it. I was there, but it was like, this isn't the same. I'm sleeping in my own bed. I have time to eat a meal. This isn't right.
Right. I did one virtual event, and it was like I sat around at a table and 2 people visited.
Yeah, it's something.
It's nicer though, because you can you can just kick it and read a book, and then nobody knows you're not paying attention.
Have a nice beverage, maybe peruse Twitter more than at actual cons, but yeah, it's definitely like the adrenaline is not there.
Right. I was laid back.
Yeah, it's just chilling. Like, I had stress for the OhioCon thing, but that was just because I was playing tech support for guests who had never done Discord before. But otherwise, it was like, I'm just talking to my buddies. This isn't real.
Right. Yeah, and like also Discord's very easy to set up, as I've learned doing this.
Yeah. It was a breeze. Like, we had technical issues, but that's only because we tried doing everything on Discord as opposed to trying to port some of it to platforms that are better meant for broadcasting.
Right.
Who knew?
Yeah. And like whatever. OBS works great. I use it every week, and it's easy to set up scenes. It's easy to do studio transitions.
Oh yeah.
I sometimes wonder if I'm slowly accumulating marketable skills every time I do this.
Curses, my resume looks good. What have I done wrong?
Right. It's like, wow, could I just get cheap jobs doing other things? Could I be a video producer?
Yeah.
That seems like it would be fun.
Like, the number of, like, so this what I pivoted to, which is related, and I'm sure we'll get into. This is a very natural segue. A lot of it was me going, well, the 3 minutes a day in the before times that I had time to like mess around on Photoshop and think about like how I like t-shirts to look.
Yeah.
Now I'm like looking at all these, people I know, people I don't know, and looking at their like merch shops and just going, oh, I could do that better. And then I was like, I have time to not just say that, but to do it. I should maybe.
Would you say that you might have a merch shop?
Oh my goodness, that's an understatement. I don't do anything worthy of having merch, but yes, my other gig, the gig that pays more than conventions, which is to say it pays any amount at all. I do t-shirts.
That time-honored internet entrepreneur tradition.
Yes, so. of trying to break even on a monthly recurring subscription to a service.
Yes,
which
by
sometimes
selling t-shirts.
I do. Yes, so my whole grievance with t-shirts started many years ago. Conventions, because it all comes back to conventions with me.
Yeah.
Staffers get shirts that say staff and the logo of the convention, and it's how they are often supposed to be recognized. Some conventions have a badge and a lanyard, but generally speaking, you go to a convention, you look around long enough to figure out, okay, that's the color and that's what the staff shirt looks like. If I got a problem, I got to go to one of those guys. Those shirts are always Gildan nipple destroyer pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be like thank you for working for us. As it's not even presented as a uniform. It's like, here is our gift to you, a free shirt. Attendees would pay $20 for this shirt. It's free. And I'm like, I know you paid $4 for this piece of shit, and it feels like it.
It's cheap. It's like dense. It's uncomfortable.
Crunchy. The print is just like you cut out the design on a piece of paper and glued it on. It's I hate it. Hate. Big hater. So I, for a brief period, ran, quote unquote, a convention for a whopping year because the actual people in charge of it were too busy, and they're like, hey, can you run this for a second while we pay our bills? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I lost all my hair and got really sad. But the thing we did right was shirts. Our first staff shirt was very comfy, and it still holds up to this day, and I wear it all the time, and the print's still solid. And the next year, we had way less money, and it was a
spent all
garbage.
that money on nice shirts.
Exactly. It's like it was double the price per shirt, which is still like $8 or $9. But hey, that was a lot.
Yeah.
So the next year we made these worse shirts, and the art was less good. But that's neither here nor there.
Right.
And I hated it. And I was like, oh man, when I'm in charge, I'm gonna make comfy T-shirts. And then I got to the spot where I wasn't in charge of a convention, and I still wanted to make comfy T-shirts. And also, I made a joke because I've been designing joke T-shirts for years, just
Right.
because it's funny. The concept of something that should not be on a T-shirt being on a T-shirt appeals to the lizard part of the skull.
Yeah, there's. How do you think a Spencer's Gifts and Hot Topics? Hot Topics is a different thing. But
Exactly.
A Spencer's Gift. I think there was in a local mall that I had. There was like almost, I don't know what the store was called, but it had like wall to wall bad joke
Funny.
T-shirts.
Yeah, funny T-shirts.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like the mall like little pop-up stands that are like, we'll print you a shirt in like 10 minutes, and it's you can get the he's my queen, she's my king. I got that backwards, or maybe not. Who knows?
I don't know. Last time I went to the mall, they all have like Naruto on them now.
Oh God.
Then
Not to sidetrack. If anyone's ever looked at Hot Topic recently, it's sad.
I've never been inside one. I do go to.
They've followed so far.
I do go to a mall every now. I also didn't really like Hot Topic very much as a teen. I was too cool for Hot Topic.
I wish that was me.
But
I was just cool enough.
I think I got a Black Sabbath T-shirt from a Hot Topic once.
That tracks. Yeah, they would never do that now.
I
think
wasn't even cool enough for that back then. If I'm being fully honest, I probably just liked War Pigs or something. I didn't even appreciate.
Now
good.
Hot Topic is all K-pop and YouTubers. It's Twitter but a store, and I say that in the worst way possible.
I didn't even appreciate Planet Caravan like any good self-respecting person should. That's a good,
Oh man.
anyway.
What
I like that
something
Black
about
Sabbath
shirts? I like where anyway. So yeah, I was stuck at home for longer than a day and
Yeah.
went stir crazy and decided to, as I was doing at conventions, get myself into something completely ridiculous
Right.
that I could then use to support my friends, because what I do at OhioCon that I never actually mentioned, despite an excellent lead up to it from you, was I curate an indie showcase full of developers of both tabletop and digital games from primarily around the Midwest, just
Yeah.
because of ease of travel. But we've had people as far as you're in some other state,
Massachusetts.
and Canada. That's like a state.
It's,
but
I
up.
mean, depends which part of Canada they're coming from. If they're coming from Vancouver, maybe, but if they're coming from like Toronto,
I think they're like just north of Michigan. So
Yeah.
it's all I know is it's Canada, because that's a great like marketing thing for me to be
Right.
like, it's international. Da 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 da.
I have also gone to Canada for games.
They're an international traveling game artist.
The aforementioned
There you go.
TCAF, or as is known longways, the Toronto Comic Arts Festival.
That is what that would stand for, isn't
Yeah.
it? Huh.
Big fan of that show. I miss most is independent comic shows going away.
Did you ever get to go to CXC?
No.
CXC, Cartoon Crossroads Columbus. It is a comic animation, the art of both. It is a festival academic show. It is put on in Columbus. It's not by OSU, but they work with OSU a lot because OSU is home to the largest academic library of cartoon art.
Yeah, what's his face? Columbus has a
Bill
comic
Waters?
scene. Does what?
Columbus has every kind of nerd scene imaginable,
Yeah.
and it is hilarious.
remember-
Bill Waterston of Calvin and Hobbes donated something like 95% of the original art from Calvin and Hobbes to this one library.
Yeah.
So they have a permanent exhibit up that I haven't gotten to go, but when I do, I will sob openly because they have the art for the final strip in like a beautiful spot where it's got its little spotlight, and I assume a permanent wet floor side because again, everyone I assume is just crying, or maybe it's just gonna be me.
Might just be. I remember it was Noah Van Shiver was talking about Columbus a lot in his books, and made me realize, oh, there's a scene. He's talking like there was a scene in Columbus. That's not the Shane Van Shiver.
It's a good city. I mean, one of the top 10 oldest anime conventions, multiple anime conventions a year, the second largest tabletop event in the country, myriad other fun little events.
Go the Midwest is a lot cheaper than the coasts are.
Shocker! It's a great time to do stuff in Ohio.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
As someone who lives in like the most expensive state, I think. I can't remember. I think it's either me or California. I think it might be Massachusetts, honestly.
Did you just say you're a state?
I am a state. I am the state of Massachusetts. There's so many. I learned the other day that it has like 1 million songs. It has like an official Glee song, an official ode, an official polka song.
Huh. Oh, okay.
I think it used to have an official. What do you think the official? Griffin, as we head out and finish this little topic chat we've been having, what do you think, given your druthers, what would you argue to be the official rock song of Columbus, of Ohio?
Of Columbus.
Or not of Columbus, of Ohio, the state.
Of Ohio.
So that
it's good
means
you
you
said
don't,
Ohio.
and it doesn't need to be rock. Rock just means you don't have to be a stuffy, we love Ohio, Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Like an
Ohio
actual,
the Beautiful
fun
or something.
I'm glad you clarified not just Columbus, because if it was just Columbus, I think legally I would have to pick a Columbus band, of which there are like 2.
What's the
One
top Columbus band, you think?
I'm pretty sure it's 21 Pilots.
Oh, woof. That's a bad one, dude.
I don't remember if Imagine Dragons is.
Oh, that's double bad,
not.
dude.
But like, listen, the problem I have is I like the origin of Imagine Dragons more than anything they've ever done. Also, they're not from Columbus, thank God. I guess
Massachusetts doesn't have a lot of great stuff either.
Song for Ohio. I don't. Ooh. That's true. There's a bit where we return, right? I might have to think on this. I might have to look through my Spotify.
I'll let you think about this. Maybe one day Sufjan will get around to that Ohio album, and then you'll have a whole album for it.
No, that won't happen.
Hey, he got 2 done. He'll get there eventually. Similar. Wait, did he do?
Oh, I'm a fool. It's obviously Cleveland Rocks, the theme song to the Drew Carey Show.
Oh, okay. Yes. Perfect.
Obviously the best rock song about Ohio.
Yeah. I remember that song.
It's a bop.
That is a show that I would watch because it was on syndication and I was a child, and I don't know what else I would do with my time. And with that, we're going to go to break. And if you learned anything, you got to be quick with your farewells, or else you're going to get cut off by my transition. Goodbye, everybody. We're going to break. Hello, and welcome back to Indiepocalypse Radio. That was post-pre, and I don't know where I got that song from, and I don't know where to find any more of that band. It seems to have vanished from the internet, aside from, like, some Last FM page or something. But that's the beauty of, like, I just downloaded a lot of music at some point, and it's just on my computer. I think it's cool. We were talking about bands from your state. I was talking the other day with friends About Massachusetts' official song was, I don't know if it still is, it was Roadrunner by the Modern Lovers. And I think the Modern Lovers are maybe, I don't know, the best Massachusetts band. I think I've narrowed it down between the Modern Lovers and the Magnetic Fields, maybe. But
Good.
those are the two that I know that I like. Or maybe Mission of Burma.
Oh right, bands from my state. Oh, this is so troublesome because I'm into so much local music, but I mean classic 1990s heartthrobs, the Gin Blossoms. Come on.
Ooh.
Oh, fantastic! What's the Gin Blossom song? You know
Oh,
that one. Oh, Hey Jealousy. Okay.
Hey Jealousy. Yeah, they did Hey Jealousy. Jimmy Eat World, of course.
Okay.
What else do we have? Ooh, there's just so many like terrible 90s bands I feel like were from my state. Gosh, what else?
Belle Biv DeVoe originated in Massachusetts. Oh, but there's also like old fucking Boston. But anyway. Well,
David Spade is from my state.
Oh.
One of my favorite musicians, David Spade.
Yeah.
Favorite musicians, David Spade. I mean, the Gin Blossoms are pretty much for like popular bands people know.
Yeah, listen,
Like that's what we've got.
It's all better than Dropkick Murphys.
AJJ are from Arizona, even though I fucking hate that band.
Man, Massachusetts band, they suck so much, dude.
Ohio has Rascal Flatts, which they're from Columbus specifically, so
Yeah. Who wants to listen? Okay, listen, before I start ragging on Nonstop, fucking Kill Switch Engage and Power Man 5000 and Godsmack. Ugh. It's all. I'm pinning all my hopes to Jonathan Richman.
Oh, Mega Ran is from my state. I always forget about Mega Ran.
hey, there you go.
Anyway, speaking of music, we have a question here. The one question, let me refresh to see if there's more than one question. There is not. It's from Juan Cena. And the reason we ask for questions ahead of time is so the comedians in the audience who want to make a big fun joke, I can just skip that part and ask the question, which is, what is your favorite Daft Punk song?
Oh.
And why is it actually Daft Punk is playing at my house?
My favorite Daft Punk song is actually Touch. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna be the king asshole. I'm gonna say the Daft Punk remix of the Daft Punk song Aerodynamic from the remix album they did of Discovery. I'm a fake fan.
Like what? Like Discovery 2000, I think it was called, or something.
No, it's not from the mashup album. They
Okay.
actually did it's called Daft Club. It was just a remix album. It got panned critically. But it came, and this was very early 2000s. It came with a little membership card that was an actual number you put into a website where you got like a digital download of the album and like access to stuff that's now, of course, been documented on the internet.
Right. Like
the
old They Might Be Giant style song.
Exactly. Yes, but slightly more internet.
Yeah.
But yeah, their remix of their own song, really all it does is expand the guitar solo for like 4 extra minutes. It's awesome. It's so dumb.
If I'm not trying to be cool, I'll just say it's One More Time. If I'm trying to be cool,
yeah.
I'll say it's Technologic.
Ooh, all good answers.
Technologic, I think, is also the pinnacle, the best Beat Saber song. I've only played Beat Saber occasionally, borrowing it from using a friend's VR, and I think it is perfect for Beat Saber.
I feel like Daft Punk lends itself to rhythm games in general. Like, because I know everyone here was a big fan of DJ Hero. They had a killer.
Listen, okay, I am a big fan.
I wish I could find some of the songs from DJ Hero. Oh man,
I thought I was kidding.
Oh. I have the whole DJ Hero soundtrack on my computer.
I'm pretty sure they did an exclusive remix for that.
They did. They were like
that
they
game.
they did a couple. They were all very. I really loved DJ Hero. It's so good.
Sorry to briefly pretend to clown on it.
No, DJ Hero is amazing. You're finding #1 DJ Hero fan Andrew here, telling you DJ Hero. If you can find DJ Hero at your local thrift store, get that shit. It's so good.
If you ever change your Twitter username, it should be #1 DJ Hero fan.
Oh yeah. DJ Hero Stan 2K21.
I stand nothing. I would never stan. Standing is for people who like Eminem, and Eminem is for people who say they like rap music, but really they just like Eminem.
I don't think I've ever been into a half-price books that didn't have an in-box DJ Hero controller, on a top shelf, as if it's top shelf.
It's so so good. It's so weird. The remixes are so good in that.
Oh yeah.
Some of them, okay. I think there's probably some bad ones, but like the ones that hit.
Did they do like what? They did like another one bites the dust, and then like Daft Punk did a remix of that, right?
Yeah. Well, they were all like mashups, where it's like, it was like you were cross-rating between the two songs and like very much like mixing together the two songs. Maybe I'll play one because like a true radio show, I can just like pull up my
summon music.
I have the DJ Hero soundtrack somewhere in my foobar, and I'll just pull it up while we talk.
Polygon did an article about DJ Hero, specifically Daft Punk's appearance in DJ Hero, and it came out 4 days ago. I guess 4 days ago was a pretty big day for Daft Punk. But...
Yeah. When that's... I mean, to be that guy, when Daft Punk broke up, I did listen... The thing, I didn't listen to Daft Punk, but I did listen to Daft Punk is playing at my house.
I listened to Discovery, because that end-to-end is... Ram doesn't feel like a Daft Punk album. It's just a good album, but like so many of the people on it are not Daft Punk that it's just this is one of the many good albums they produced, but it's not really theirs.
I think there's so many good songs on it though.
Yeah. It's all bangers, no question. Even Giorgio is interesting to listen to, but actually, like the early ones are more robot.
Song. Oh yeah, they're definitely that was their thing. They're like a robot thing. Yeah. You gotta have the robot thing.
Here's DJ Hero's soundtrack. What have we got? Anyway, well, while you guys talk, I'm going to look around for the Daft Punk ones.
Nice.
Or maybe
they did 2 Queen songs.
Oh yeah, I guess I should look for the Queen one. We're talking about.
Yeah,
I was
We Will Robot Rock You. I
was gonna do the Blondie one because I think the Blondie one is very good. Let's see.
Television Rules the Nation is an
oh wait, that's the Beastie Boys. Where's the Daft Punk one? That wasn't that. But that is
all I know is a lady I used to work with in an office job used to listen to nothing but some days the Pentatonix Daft Punk song.
Oh, it's cool, but like,
after like the second week, it just started driving me insane.
That video did teach me that if you have a ring light, it's very easy to do a cheap like robot eye effect.
Oh yeah,
because if you're close enough, the reflections. And I've used that multiple times since then with ring lights. It's a good trick to know.
It's one of the things I need to get because the lighting in my house is terrible, and I want to do more Deep Hell videos. Very difficult with the terrible lighting I have. It's all overhead. You can't see anything.
Ooh, depending on your budget and willingness to get dumb toys, I got a toy recently. It's a film light. It does so much. I don't even know. The problem is every time I've described it to someone before now, I've used video, and the folks at home do not have video. But it's a good light. I'll link it off chat.
What are we talking about?
Good to know.
Here it is. Okay.
I gotta step away for a second, actually.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise. Big noise. Big noise. Big noise. Big noise.
Anyway.
Big noise.
I'm just gonna
big noise, boy, make a big noise. Big noise. Big noise. Everybody.
With all the fun gifts,
we're bumping all them DJ Hero tracks.
Yeah, I was playing around with my avatar so much. This is why you tune in live, because you get to see me play. You get to see my artisanal gift collection, where I make all of my gifts by hand. And I'm not like a social media marketer that types in, "Oh, fun GIF about Pokemon, but it's good for community engagement." It's so bullshit like that.
What do you, the Psyduck GIF with popping champagne that every
Yeah.
convention ever has used at least a dozen times on Twitter?
Precisely. The Indiepocalypse promises that I'm a human being, not a social marketing robot or something. Whatever. I'm
This
leaving.
is not a brand.
I'm leaving. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for hosting.
We're gonna go out like we always go out with Sydney Gish's Imposter Syndrome off No Dogs Allowed, that I will keep playing because I don't think I'm gonna get in trouble for doing it. I think it's a very good closing song. Goodbye, everyone.